Good afternoon out there, shopkeepers and do-it-yourselfers. I'll show you what you have to do to take the crankshaft pulley off of a Ford Ecoboost. This is on a 2019 3.5 Ecoboost. The same pulley is probably used on several different models. This puller here is basically what you about have to have. I bought this, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, and I've used it a bunch on different, even on Chrysler products. It's a 3-jaw puller. I've already got the pulley off, but I wanted to show you where you could see. See, it looks like there's kind of like an auger, or like a drill bit here. You got high spots and low spots. So you take your jaw, your puller, and set it down in there where your jaws go on the outside of the low spots. I'll turn it over so I set it down in there. Kind of hard to do it one-handed. Okay, so it's setting down in there with the jaws, or and we'll call it the jaws, are going on the inside in the low spots. So when you got it on there, you're going to turn your pulley or your puller. Get it where we can maneuver. You're going to rotate your puller clockwise so that your jaws grab on those flats. Let me get my hands situated. Well, it's kind of hard to hold it and keep it centered. So your jaws are going to grip onto those flats. I think you get the gist of it there. And then once you got your jaws, it's rotated, and it's, so I can pick the puller up by the or I can pick the pulley up by the puller. You select, usually you have to start with your medium length. This goes into the crankshaft after the crank pulley bolt is off. This goes up inside the crankshaft and sticks out like that. And your puller or your press bolt is hollowed out up to about that far. So it sets on that. And because this is hitting my table, I need to use a shorter bolt or a shorter press. So it would look like that. Then you rotate or turn that into your puller, and when it contacts, just kind of jiggle it and make sure it centers so it's going up inside the bolt, and rotate that until it pulls your pulley off. And to put it back on, obviously this does not have a keyway. It goes on there any old way you want to put it on, any 360 degree, doesn't matter. To put it back on, it's going to go back on under pressure. So I bought this aftermarket piece of crap, but it works. So you want to make sure that you don't have any burrs or anything in there. Clean that off and clean off your seal surface. And then you need to select one of these tools that threads into your crankshaft. It will match this will match your crank pulley bolt. You want to make sure that it's the same threads, because you don't want to jack up your dadgum crankshaft. You put that in there, and then you want to put a couple of washers or something that's going to fit over your crankshaft. I use various different sleeves or bushings or whatever, and That fits in there pretty solid. So that your pulley is going to be on your crankshaft, kind of pressed up on there just a little bit by hand, and then thread this in. When you get that threaded on, then you're going to put your bearing on there. Of course, we're going to have some more shims on there. Put your bearing on there, and then thread this on there onto this piece there. See, that's hollow and threaded. This threads on there, and then you hold this with an adjustable wrench and rotate this nut, and that will come down that shaft. Of course, with the pulley not pressed on, your press and all that, this is going to be down in there. So when you thread this on, this is going to be a lot closer to that right there. So it's going to look like that as you're pressing it on. Then rotate that nut, hold this still, rotate this nut, and as this nut turns, your pulley is going to slide up on your shaft. Anyway, you just can't do it without these two tools. You need a crankshaft pulley installer. This acts as a press, and then your pulley or puller to remove the pulley. And this one is a Blue Point. It's a YA9740, and I don't know where I got this, but I wrote crank on there for quick reference, because I've got several pulley removers. I don't know what that number is. Looks like maybe a 1049, but anyway, it don't matter. Just a crankshaft pulley installer kit, and you will get several of these. One end fits into here, right there, and this end would go into a crankshaft for, there's several different. That's a 3/4 16. There's another, got a pretty small bit right there. And anyway, that's how you do it, fellas. That puller takes it off, and that puller puts it on. Thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe. Comment if you will.